Welcome back, guys, to Marketing Teardown with Andrew and Travis. We are your hosts, Andrew.
And Travis?
The rules are simple. We have a timer pulled up with 30 minutes on the clock. We have a company that Travis is coming in cold to. He's never heard of it before. And we have a blank Google Doc that we're going to build a marketing strategy in from scratch in 30 minutes or less. You ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm sending you the details on that company right now. So
right.
pull up that Google Doc. The company is called Numerai. It is a blockchain-driven hedge fund that uses crowdsourced data to make investment decisions. And so, the down and dirty of this is that they basically have a blockchain that allows them to share their data sets on the market without compromising their investment strategy. It's all scrambled and randomized so that they can send this to crowdsourced data scientists without revealing what they're trying to invest in. And then data scientists can use machine learning algorithms to analyze this data and go back to them with some like random string of numbers that will tell them what to invest in, and then they'll invest in it and theoretically make money.
Jesus.
So I'm going to pull up their website right here. It's numer.ai, Numerai. And their website looks like a futuristic, like Star Trek kind of screenshot right here. Oh, and I'll start the timer as well.
Okay, cool.
I did look through some of their stats on their website, and their website is Alexa rank of about, I believe it was a 313,000. Yeah, 313,000. They're doing about 75,000 visits a month to their website right now, and it's a custom-built website. They don't have a CMS. They don't have WordPress or anything like that, which you sometimes see with people that are very highly technical teams like this. And I always prefer to be in a CMS system or in WordPress as a marketer, but I get why they would want to build it when they have more control. Social media, they have about 400 followers on Facebook. They have 900 followers on YouTube, 1,500 on Reddit, 1,300 on Telegram, which is like a blockchain what version of WhatsApp, 3,000 on LinkedIn, and 4.8 thousand on Medium, which is where it looks like they have a bunch of articles, and it's what they're building their blog on, which some thoughts about that I'm sure you do as well. Tags, I noticed they have Heap on their website, which they're using to track analytics and user experience. And they also plug into CoinMarketCap to pull data on cryptocurrencies. But there wasn't a ton else that was tagged on their website. So that's the overview. And it's a pretty futuristic, complicated company with a very complicated product. So we're going to do our best to break this down in very simple terms that most people can understand. What do you got for me?
Okay, so first of all, this is a hilarious copy on their website. They're trying to make it confusing in an attempt to make it appealing. And I think that probably worked at the height of crypto excitement. But now people are more wary than ever of this. And so this is almost the exact opposite strategy of what they should be doing. They should either be hyper focusing on people that still are diehard crypto people, or they should make this easy to understand and assume that they have, hey, this is a really, really good product. Let us explain it in the most simple way possible, because they're kind of still riding the crypto wave and trying to say like, hey, this is something that's crazy interesting. It's super complicated. Nobody understands it. It's fucking changing the world. It's changing the future. And honestly, that is super confusing. And every marketing dollar that you spend should be convincing people that your product is good and helping them to understand why it's good. So really, you're kind of burying the value props underneath a lot of this kind of like scientific woo language. And honestly, I would say that even though this is run by data scientists, I think somebody with a very analytical mind would say, hey, I don't really like this because I don't understand it. So my whole escapade on this idea is that make the copy really simple and put the value props in front of your product rather than putting your value props behind your very complicated, difficult to understand product. I see all this and I'm like, okay, this is cool. And honestly, this is a pretty crazy scientific concept, but you're putting all the buzz before the actual value. And I think that's probably killing them.
Yep, I completely agree. And I want to just, I'll point out a few things on their homepage before digging in a little deeper, but you're exactly right. They have just insane hype marketing, hype graphics. Like, what even is this? This is just the most futuristic, abstract looking thing with the name of their company. It doesn't tell you anything. It doesn't tell you what you're supposed to do. It's very hype first. It's not value first. As someone who might use their product on either side, as an investor or as a data scientist, I have no idea what the fuck this is. Like, I see this and I'm like, I mean, yeah, it looks cool, I guess. And as you scroll down, they're just in like, the language is very convoluted and the vocabulary has so many huge words in it that it's just kind of insane. Very far down at the very bottom of their page, they have a option to subscribe to their newsletter. They have these actually pretty decent big names of publications they've been featured in. And you can kind of see how that's at the bottom and not at the top, which is where we'd want to see that if we're trying to actually, look at this from a marketing perspective. We want to tell people that this is validated by trustworthy publications, not by hype and abstract graphics, right? So I think you can see on their homepage how it's kind of flipped, even though they have this good press. I want to actually go over some of what they actually do, because as I dug into this in my research, I noticed that this was actually a pretty valuable and novel application of blockchain technology, which as we both know, and anybody who's watching this, it's very hyped up right now, right? Blockchain 2018 had a crazy explosion. People don't know what it is, but they were just buying tokens just because it was cool. This is a little different. And I think this application of blockchain actually has a real business behind it. So the way that this is set up, they call it on their website tournaments, and they're basically contests that run on every set amount of times, every 30 days or every week. They run contests, and they'll give you an option to download the data in the contest, run it through your algorithm, upload your predictions, and then you can stake money on it so that you have a stake in the game. And whatever you stake, to my understanding, which is rough by the way, you can earn more money back on top of that if your model is the best. And there's real money behind this. Like, this contest is $3,200 just for this one contest. Currently, they have $23,000 up for grabs for data scientists that want to enter this contest right now, which I think the value is very obvious. If you're a data scientist, you have the option to just make $3,000 by running some numbers into an algorithm. It's more complicated than that, but the value is obvious. You can make money as a data scientist, and you can make a lot of it here.
Yep. So thinking of like general economics in the larger sense of this, there's so many of these trade shows going on as far as like meetups, anything along that line. Nobody's really spending a lot of money to put sponsorship behind it now because everybody's like scared and trying to pull back. If they truly do believe that this is valuable, they should say, hey, this is valuable and it's even cheaper than the value that it was before, and just start plugging money into sponsorship for events.
Yep, I agree. And it should be events that are focused on data scientists if they're looking at getting more talent behind this. I want to actually jump over to our doc real quick to start building out our strategy. And the first thing I want to talk about is our personas. And I believe there are two of them. What's interesting about their business model is that they sort of have a two-sided marketplace that they've created out of what might be a hedge fund. And what I mean by that is that on one side you have investors, right? People that will give money to them to invest in exchange for returns when the market performs well or whatever from their novel investment strategies. That's one persona. And so I imagine that they probably want to get more investors to get more capital to then invest. The other one is data scientists, and we're talking the best of the best data scientists, like the top 1% of data scientists, and those are the people that will run their data through their algorithms. And I think what they're effectively doing here is they're taking the model of a hedge fund, which employs a bunch of really, really smart people that can analyze data and then takes those observations and invest. They're taking those analysts and they're just crowdsourcing it with the blockchain. And I actually think you could even be an economic advantage compared to other hedge funds if instead of paying 100 analysts 6 figures a year, you can crowdsource it and pay half that in prizes, similar to any other kind of crowdsourcing mechanism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. So I'm just looking at, I'm going through their navigation right now. And there's no like central source for any information on here. Pretty much the idea is that if you are on this website, you know exactly what it is and you're ready to participate in the tournaments, the community, and their Telegram, or you're looking for a job in their careers tab. I think that's kind of confusing. I feel like this should be more of a portal. You sign in and you're already in the community and you're like, okay, now I have all the resources now that I'm convinced this is something that I want to be a part of, want to participate in. I don't see this as a marketing website at all, because there's no information that will help me make a decision to start being a part of this community.
Yep. Well, I think what they need to do right now is hire a marketer, and it might be on their
Yeah.
careers page. But because what's clearly a very technical concept, both on the financial side and the technology side. These guys are smart as hell. There's no denying that. The thing that they've built is incredible, but they need a marketer to come and translate this to the normal people.
Yeah.
So I'm writing down a few notes on what I think we want to do for the website, and value first, not hype first. Call to actions
Yep.
for investors and data scientists, normal language, and just better navigation. What they want people to do.
Yep. Building the metal model. Okay.
So, what are you looking at right now?
I'm just going through their like main page, and they have like, it's almost kind of like a content scroll on their homepage, and it's super tough to navigate all of this. Kind of just going back to what we were saying earlier, it's difficult to understand what's going on.
Yep.
And I think it's because it's a little bit buried in crypto and the value of their token.
It is, and that's the thing, is that I think the value of their token itself, it's not the same as other cryptocurrencies, right? It's not the value of
Yeah.
Bitcoin. This is something that you can, to my understanding, you can exchange it to them or the marketplace for cold cash. And a lot of people, the token's there to facilitate this technology, but as soon as they get the token, they can just take it out in USD or another currency. That's my understanding. I could be wrong about that. This is a really complicated thing. I did make a note as well. One of the things that they have is they have a lot of followers on Medium, and it looks like they've been using Medium as their blog. On one hand, that's can be a positive thing to put content on Medium because there's an audience of reach there, and Medium's algorithms, I'm seeing this right now personally, actually, they'll actually push your content in front of a lot of people if you can write the right things and put them in the right publications in Medium. So it's a pretty strong content growth channel, but they want to own their content, because if it's on Medium, they don't own it, and it's not driving SEO to their website, it's driving SEO to Medium. So I want to see them get that blog content on a blog on their website built on WordPress right away. I think that's such an obvious thing. They're already creating content, and they should create more, and they should put it on their website.
It's kind of ironic. They're creating some insane technology and trying to use crypto as a little bit of a marketing mechanism to get people into it.
Yeah.
But they have this insane technology, and they're not kind of doing the very like table stakes ways to grow their business. One of the things that comes to mind immediately is organizations like McKinsey & Co. will pull directly out of code boot camps and code schools, hack reactors, stuff like that. Specifically in mind, what I have is they hire right out of Turing, which is a code school here in Denver, Colorado. And I think what they could do here would be partner with somebody who would be like McKinsey, but for financial institutions and hedge funds, and make a partnership with code schools that are specifically in back-end curriculums. Like Galvanize has a data science course. It is notoriously difficult for a hack school. There is a very high failure rate, which is great because they have a great program. But I think it would, if they're saying that this is going to be a long-term solution that people are going to use at hedge funds, the only thing that really makes sense is saying, okay, rather than taking people that are data engineers that have a really strong skill set already at a hedge fund and pushing this on them and saying, hey, here's a tool that you can use to help strengthen your hedge fund. Why not just take these kids that are already trying to learn a valuable skill set and make them a total asset to these hedge funds and partnership with them, and say like, okay, this is great because you didn't have any skills before. Now you have skills and a new tool that nobody over here knows how to use, and then partner those people together.
Oh, for sure. I completely agree. And I'm starting to build out our channel strategy with that, by the way. I dropped in content marketing. I think on data science, crypto, investing in crypto assets. That's all stuff they want on the content. I'll circle back to Google Ads and ABM, but yeah, I dropped in partnerships with code schools in sourcing the data scientists. I think it makes sense on two fronts. One, it's the new blood. Like you can instantly get a ton of people who know stuff about machine learning and data science to use algorithms on your data and help improve the model and keep learning. And you can also now establish yourself in front of a lot of people that will then, as they leave the code school, maybe they become really good at what they do, and they're a powerful asset to actually solving these equations. But they also, that's a marketing channel, because every one of those people that had a good experience with this is going to spread the word. And the moment that you have at like Turing or some school like that, you have one kid who wrote an algorithm that they did something really, really right, and they win $4,000 from their algorithm, they're going to tell fucking everybody. And you better believe everyone at Turing is going to be talking about that. It's such a huge experiential marketing channel.
Right. Yeah, that's great.
So, and I do, by the way, you bring up a good point, which is what hedge funds are using this. I originally thought that they are a hedge fund that's using this and it's their secret sauce. You bring up a good point, because I'm not sure if this is just a technology that they're licensing to other hedge funds as well and selling the data, and hedge funds can go to them and bring them their data. Either one of those I think is a great business model, but I'm not sure which of those they are right now. So that would be nice to know, especially if I were a potential investor coming in that might want to say, give them money. That would be nice to know.
Yep, 100%. Yeah. So I think we've definitely trying to hit this home pretty well, that make this easier to understand.
Yeah.
Like maybe we're just super dumb. Who knows? Maybe we're just super dumb and we can't understand it because we're so dumb.
Yeah. I think we're well beyond a fifth grade reading level, which, as most marketers know, is what we should be aiming for when we write copy, is a fifth grade reading level or below. And yeah, I think I don't think you can achieve that just based on the topic. Like I don't think you can get that low, but yeah, it's hard to understand. I do want to circle back though to Google Ads and account-based marketing, or otherwise known as ABM. I think on the investor side, this makes a lot of sense. If they are a hedge fund and they're looking to find investors, they're going to want to run some Google Ads on people who are searching for, let's say, blockchain hedge funds. I'm sure there's some search volume on that. It's kind of a new thing, and there are people interested in that. No brainer. And they can spend a ton of money on Google Ads because the value of an investor is really high. If someone's going to give them $100 million, you can pay $50 a click and still be profitable. So I'd want to see that right away. And then ABM as well. On the investor side, I think they can do some very specific targeted sales efforts on finding investors because, again, that dollar value is so high. So even if you paid a full-time employee to go after a single investor, that could be worth it in the long run, because this is a big ticket item. On the flip side, if they're not going after investors, but they're selling the service to other hedge funds, I think they can employ the same strategy, because they can go after people at hedge funds looking for keywords based on, say, machine learning on the stock market, or things like that. Very esoteric, if you will. We're throwing out big words here, so I'm going to keep with the trend. Very obscure terminology that only someone at a hedge fund would be searching for, and they could do account-based marketing going after hedge funds as well. And I think that would be a lot higher return in terms of marketing efforts than, say, mass outbound emailing, because we're talking with such large dollar amounts. We want to make sure there's the right personal touch here.
Yep. So I think there's definitely two ways they can go. From my understanding right now, they're a hedge fund that uses its own platform. And I think that's kind of it's an interesting way to go about it, and it's a good short-term plan. But I think really what they're trying to create is a tool for arbitrage. And we all know how arbitrage works. It starts off really, really large until everybody sort of meets in the middle. And if they want to really I really think a consulting company, even though all the people that run this company are very back-end computer science, they're not in the sales, they're not in the hand-holding of any of this. But I think if they really want to make a product that's durable, what they should be doing is having consulting for vertical specific hedge funds, where they go in and they say, okay, we're going to actually help you. We're going to build a model for you. We're going to license it for you for 10 years.
Yep. Yep, and I would I think we're in the realm of pass right here, my friend. This is platform as a service.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I mean, these guys shouldn't have more than 10 clients.
Yeah. I think you're absolutely right about that. And as the arbitrage closes, this becomes not something that's a secret weapon. This becomes something that everybody has to play the game. Because
Yeah.
that's the thing with it too. It's, even if there's no more arbitrage on Google Ads, but and we're not making money on an advertisement, say for a generic e-commerce product, for example. If I had an e-commerce product and I knew that I could run Google Ads on it and sell 1,000 extra units a month, but make no profit on that, I would still want to do it if my cash flow and my inventory could support it, because the word of mouth and getting that in front of people is worth it alone as a channel, as well as the referrals. So that's something to consider as well, because even if there's not a lot of money to be made, this could be table stakes to play the game in 5-10 years once we've, evolved to that level in the hedge fund world.
Yep, totally.
So cool. So I do want to add to our channel strategy and keep moving forward. Conferences, events, you touched on this earlier. I think in data science and in hedge funds, investing, both of those, you can have conference and event sponsorships. I think they should try to speak on the investor side, whether it's in front of hedge funds or investors. They should try to demo their product and put that in front of everybody. I think it's novel enough. They could probably easily get a speaking spot, and that'll demonstrate what they have to offer to potential investors. For the data science side, I think sponsoring and just creating some cool experiences outside the event would be enough. Because you're trying to reach a lot more people, right? The algorithm is better the more data scientists they have to throw at it. So for that, I would want to see like after party sponsorships, can't spell right now, sponsorships, and just main sponsorships of the event itself. As well as they can do some guerrilla marketing around it. I think if they, have some people going around and like passing out flyers and things, they can be like, at first it sounds super shady. They're like, do you want to make $4,000 running your algorithm for us? Here's a slip of paper. Call me later or whatever. Check out our website. It sounds super fucking shady, but the value that they offer is such that they can do that. And I think you'll get a lot of people interested, especially because it's a cool, novel thing, right? It's machine learning on blockchain. That's so 2019. It's not even funny. Oh, I like where you're going with this.
Yeah. Hit them with a lateral move. Find the smartest people in the room. Give them a taste of what you're doing. Simple messaging. If you say like, hey, this is the benefit, and then you start to get people into understanding what it is, especially if with this, they wouldn't even really need to flip around their messaging, because these people that are going to math and physics events are going to be willing to say, okay, this sounds like something that is nerdy. I'm interested in learning more about it. And you don't have to like really give them a taste of what the benefit is first. And that's probably what's been working for them for a long time, is they're saying like, we're going to use a bunch of big words, try to get a bunch of nerds in a room. And then once we actually show them our product, then they're going to be interested in it.
Yeah. And I think it's on their homepage. Look, old white dude in the lab talking about building the meta model. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think down there at the bottom, actually, their white paper. They have a white paper that explains the methodology behind it. A cryptographic token that can be used in a novel auction mechanism to make overfitting economically irrational. It's like the only people that are going to care about that are deep nerds, and I mean this in the most scientific sense possible. Deep nerds about this exact topic, and I don't mean that in a bad way, by the way. We're nerds about marketing, but someone who's like that deep into data science and math and cryptography and blockchain is going to love that. And I think you hit it dead on. They need to be in front of those people, because that'll be what's running their algorithm.
I just read some of this and I'm like, you're making me do so much work. You're making me do so much work.
I know.
Baby.
To a fair point, I'll give them this. All of this language that's turning us off might be for the right audience of data scientists. So I don't think it's right for investors as a blanket statement. Maybe some, but not all. But I think it could be right for data scientists. I think overall it could be better not to have that, but you might be attracting some of these people with that. I do want to move on to some other channels, LinkedIn ads. No matter what persona we're talking here, LinkedIn ads make a ton of sense. We're able to pay for high cost per clicks, and these job titles are targetable. there are a lot of data scientists out there that if they're not successful yet, they're hungry and they want to be on LinkedIn. And if they are successful, they want to be in LinkedIn and, tell everybody that they're hot shit. So I think LinkedIn is the right channel for everybody they're going after here. And then Reddit as well. I think there's a lot of blockchain enthusiasts on the technical side on Reddit. Organic, we can hit them. I think organic would perform really well with their content and potentially with some ads. I think the ads could advertise their tournaments directly. And if you promise somebody $4,000 for their data science and or blockchain skills, they might click on it. It's a pretty strong offer.
For non-traditional channels, I wonder how it works for sponsoring alumni networks. Like sponsoring alumni networks for math and science for target schools, essentially trying to find the people that are 2 or 3 years into their career path who are quants from target schools.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like the lateral moves, man. You're coming in with the lateral passes. This is good stuff. This is good stuff.
I don't know if that's a thing that exists. Like, can you sponsor? But I just know that the second I graduated college, my college kept sending me letters being like, "Remember that thing? Remember how you're paying us a lot of money? We want more of it."
Yeah. This is the ultimate profit machine, man. Dude, forget about a business, man. We should start a college. That's what I'm.
So I think the next strategic play these guys should do is definitely start a college for profit, as public as possible. As you can max out your student loans in the first year if you'd like.
Yeah. That might even, we're joking about this, but that could be late game for them. Obviously not now, but say they have, I don't know, $500 billion under management or something crazy, and they can spend like basically unlimited amounts of money on getting more, data scientists. They could start a data science school, honestly. I mean, they'll have some incredibly smart people between the nexus of data science and investment. We're joking about this, but I think this is late game strategy for them.
All of the data models that they put together suggest that the safest, most profitable model is actually higher education, because it actually increases as the economy decreases. Spending on higher education increases as the economy decreases, and it can tell that the economy is about to take a stand. About to take a tank.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, dude! I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it's called Behind the Bastards. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's fucking awesome podcast. It's the backstories of horrible people in history and in the modern age. But they were going through the Koch brothers, and which was like, this is some good episodes, worthwhile. Check it out if you haven't seen that. But apparently, I forget which one, but one of the Koch brothers is like hardcore libertarian, and he at one point was like, we need to spread this into the fabric of society. The best way is to teach young people these ideals. So he spends billions of dollars getting this curriculum into schools and like changing what textbooks students read, and it's fucking working. And like what he did is now a like libertarianism is now becoming more mainstream a lot because of his investment in education, like early on in people's lives. Is fucking crazy.
See, I love those lateral moves, my dude.
I know, dude. It's like evil billionaire stuff. This is the kind of stuff that like someone who has $1 billion is like, this is a good idea, and everyone else is just like, you're insane.
As derivative as it gets.
Yeah. Cool. So I want to keep it rolling here. We've got about just 3 minutes left on the clock. We want to get any more channels going here. I'm gonna check my.
I think like there's so many different ways that you can go about this, from like weird channels like sponsoring alumni networks, that you could try a million different things inside of those weird channels, and there's no clear path to success on that, rather than focusing on some keywords on LinkedIn and personas on LinkedIn, or keywords on AdWords, which will clearly work in this situation.
Yeah, for sure. And I do really think that at the core, while this sounds complicated, and they do a great job making it look complicated, it's actually very, very straightforward. The value they offer is very straightforward. You get money. If you're a data scientist, you could win a bunch of money. If you're an investor, you can make more money than if you put your money somewhere else. Very straightforward. Their personas they're going after are very straightforward. It's data scientists, and it's hedge funds and or investors. Like, you don't need to be cutting edge blockchain, futuristic marketer in order to market to those people. And I think if you did a lot of things we talked about, you would find them and you would get your company in front of them.
Yep, I 100% agree.
Cool. You want to break down next steps? What we recommend for them to
Yeah.
do?
Yep, let's do it. Reorganize their copy. Start with benefits. Don't make me feel like I'm lifting up a boulder.
Don't make us boulders.
Because the whole moral of the story is like, tell me what the benefits are and give me a brief overview of what's going on without using insane GMAT words.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I'm curious as to what this really is. When I'm looking at this website, I see this is something crazy that's going to blow your mind. Step, data science, algorithms, black box of money. And that doesn't mean anything to me. And I would really like to learn what it means. That way I could see if it's something that is interesting. Because right now, if I tried to even just word of mouth tell somebody who was going through a data science program who has a very strong interest in finance, I wouldn't know how to pitch them that. I'd
Yeah.
just be super confused.
And I'm adding one more thing, which is I want to see quotes and testimonials from data scientists who have entered the contest and who have won the contests. Yeah, it's great that we can say that you can win a bunch of money, but I want to show somebody who has already won and say, this is super cool. My algorithm was the best. It's hot shit. You should enter this contest. You know, I'm sure these guys love to brag about their algorithms, and I think that you'd get a lot more people interested in that.
Yep.
Next up, you know, something that I would add, I think the conference and event marketing is going to be big here. And I think at this stage of where they're at, they're going to want to do some high leverage, lower cost things, because I don't know if they have enough money in the bank to say advertise on LinkedIn or Google at the moment for these really expensive keywords. I think they can and they should do that eventually, but it looks like they're kind of early in the game. And if they don't have a ton of capital, I think conference and event marketing is probably their best channel right now. If they're trying to find data scientists, they can get in front of, data science conferences and things like that. And if they want to get hedge funds, they can go to a hedge fund conference. And they're so interesting and futuristic that they will stand out from the crowd just by being there. Oh, there's a timer. All right, timer. All right, what next?
I think definitely going laterally. Lateral, trying a bunch of stuff. Trying to find people who are or have been quants from target schools.
Find quants from target
really,
schools.
I really think you could find both of those personas in just that person. A quant from a target school who's worked at a hedge fund for a lot of years, maybe has had an exit from a startup and now they're bored and they have a ton of cash. This is also something that's interesting to me. This is kind of past, or it's before next steps, but people who are really mathematic and scientifically minded aren't always necessarily motivated by money. And so I think they should tag something on to the prize, something a little bit more bragging rights.
I love that.
With Quora all the time is getting the Quora sweater is so hard, but there's so many like very intelligent, very powerful people that are on Quora who want to get those million views a month or whatever it is to get that Quora sweater because you can't buy it anywhere. And it's just like it's a personal like symbol of, hey, I did this. This makes me feel good, even though I already have a bajillion dollars.
Yeah, so they have a leaderboard. I do want to point out they have a leaderboard.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
Which also, $5.5 million have been earned. That's crazy. That's insane.
That should be on their front page.
Yeah, you know what the thing that's missing here is though, they have a leaderboard, but it's just these. I guess the contests have names, but like it's just a username with all this random stuff. Like I don't know who this is. This person can't use this as bragging rights. This should be bragging rights. This should be something that's tied to a name so that somebody can say, "Look what I did."
Yep. They organize it by reputation, and it says reputation number one for Viki, and USD earned is $2.93.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Pick one or the other. Is it cool, or are you going to win money?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Can you sort it? You can't sort it. That's a must. You gotta be able to sort this, my dudes. Like
they're going to have a search bar over here where you write SQL queries, and it tells you.
Yeah. So you have the right audience.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's crazy. Some of these people have won a lot of money though. $13,000, $3,000. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I want more around the bragging rights. You hit the nail on the head right there. I think you're right. I'll add this in. Non-monetary bragging rights. I would add ABM for investors, hedge funds. I think that's their best, going to the sniper approach is probably their best effort right now if they're trying to grow that side of the business. And you know what I would do is specifically LinkedIn direct messages. I would and connections. This is something that I know we're both playing around with this a little bit right now, but I think they get a lot of traction because of who they are. If they got their CEOs or the president's LinkedIn, and they ran a tool like Linked Helper or something like that to mass visit or mass connect with a lot of people in the right category. And then as soon as they get that connection, just reach out with a hyper targeted, hyper specific one-on-one message offering their value and saying, hey, we've got an edge on other trading strategies. You should check us out. I want to talk to you about if, I think you could make a lot more money if you're using our algorithm or whatever. I think that would get a lot of results, and it's very inexpensive, close to zero cost. So I want to see that happening. And then just straight up cold email and phone calls. And as a marketer, a lot of time we'll say, well, we should do, bulk outbound messages, or hey, we should find a way to automate this, or do things at scale. We're talking with such a specific value add. The company is the right kind of thing. It's new, it's hot. I think if you got a hold of anybody in the hedge fund or investment world and said, look at this, they would be interested. So you can get that specific. All right.
I was thinking about, like, the easiest way to connect with people that are in positions of power is hands down LinkedIn messaging, especially if they're over the age of 30, or not LinkedIn messaging, sorry, Instagram messaging, especially if they're over the age of 35. I've talked with people that I had just like no chance of talking with, just responding to their Instagram stories, just being like, oh, that's cool. Or, hey, I was just listening to your podcast. I really think that's awesome. Like, I got this idea, especially with older audiences. So David Cancel, who's the CEO of Drift, he does this podcast called Seeking Wisdom, and he was telling me that he said something on his Instagram story about he was trying to take a screenshot. I'm like, hey dude, pro tip, like Command Control Shift 4 with Dropbox, and he was like, whoa, that just changed my life.
Yes,
and so,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
if you can just have like a casual conversation with that person, they know who you are. Maybe they give a shit about you, maybe they don't, but the most important part is that you're connecting with those people and you're talking with them and you're not selling them right out of the get-go. Like, they're going to look at your company, and worst case is you have a little bit of brand recognition.
Yeah, exactly. And because their thing is so novel and cool, anybody who's interested in data science, I'm sure there are a lot of hedge funds or investors that are like, you know what, I really want to find a way to use data science, to improve my investment strategy. I'm sure there are a lot of really smart people looking for that. If you connect with somebody who is connected to them, and they know that that person is looking for data science, I don't know, bit on how to get an edge on the market, they're going to go, dude, you got to check this out. This might be what you're looking for, because they're going to want to help their friend out.
Yep.
I did add one more thing to our channels, and that's direct mail. I think you could do direct mail, very high value direct mail to hedge funds and investors on that side, if you get a creative flair. So this is going to be probably terrible, but off the top of my head, if you, for example, got a package and you put a letter in it and you like sealed it with a wax stamp, and and you open it, it's a whole experience to unbox this letter saying, we're inviting you to come to our offices and check out this advanced data science, machine learning thing. It's changing the way that investors are investing in the stock market. And then with it is like a physical version of their token or something. That'd be badass, and it'd be expensive. Maybe one of those is like $20, $30, $50 to send that package. But I think you get the attention of someone who has a lot of money that way.
It seems like they're giving away pretty large pots of money. Buy 10 iPads. Who gives a shit? Buy 10 iPads.
Yeah.
Buy 10 iPads, load up a program for those individual people that says, hi, David, this is blah, blah, blah from Numerai. I wanted to show you about this super cool thing. Here's a brief example. Would you like to connect with me? Yes or no? And then, like, worst case scenario is you don't hear from them and you use Find My iPhone and you go pick up the iPad. And then probably what's going to happen is the receptionist is going to say, you're the guy that sent the iPad with that crazy video. And then you might get an in-person.
Yeah, I agree. It would be really sick would be if you sent an iPad, but you wiped the software and the OS and everything, because these guys are smart ass programmers, right? And if you set up a program where you turn on the iPad and it just pops up with a hyper personalized message that, like, say the guy's like James, he's this owner of a hedge fund or he's an investor or whatever. Hello, James. Welcome. we'd like to invite you. And like, it's like a Mission Impossible, like invitation, like the opening scene where
Yeah.
Tom Cruise like gets a self-destructing iPad and it's like a personal message to him. And it just goes
Yeah.
like, hello, James, we would like to invite you to a secret look at our newest investing strategy. Like that'll fucking blow your mind because you're like, this is
Yeah.
cool. Like the cool fact, like you feel like a spy or like
Yeah.
a secret agent if you get that.
Yeah. Totally.
I want to see him do this. It'd be
All those
so great.
hedge fund guys want to be James Bond anyways. They drive Aston Martins and wear $4,000 shoes.
Yeah, exactly. They'll probably have like secret rooms in the backs of their houses anyway, or they probably just browse Reddit. They probably don't even do anything interesting in them. Oh man, I love that. Well, I think that's a pretty good place to end here, unless you want to add anything else.
I think that's great.
All right, cool. Well, we're gonna wrap that up then, guys. Thank you guys for watching. This was super fun. If you want to find us, you can find me on LinkedIn, Andrew Ishimaru, or if you just Google my name, you'll be able to find my website and my marketing company as well.
And then I'm Travis Page. You can find me on LinkedIn. I help run Cinebody.com. Take a look.
Boom, boom, boom. And please, if you like this, give it a like. If you thought we're full of shit, drop a comment. If you liked it, drop a comment and share it. Yeah, all those good things.
And if you have some sort of insane company that you want us to grow, just DM either Andrew or I. Don't post it below because we'll both see it. Just DM one of us and we'll run the ball on it and surprise the other one with a 30-minute teardown.
Ooh, I like that. That's good. Yeah, do that. All right, guys. See you next week.